The main problem with AI images we must solve to make a comic is number 1, horrifying hands. Number 2, horrifying hands. Number 3, consistent characters. And number 4, my crippling depression. Some of these were possible to solve, but one of them is still far beyond the capabilities of current AIs. They are really bad at generating hands. Now, this AI tech is moving faster than your grandma's hand at bingo. I've been working on this for the last couple of months, and this process is already outdated. It's like you blink and you're obsolete. So people of the future, you will be able to do a even better job than we've done here. Okay, so we're using Stable Diffusion for 3 reasons. Number 1, it allows for the greatest control of the image generated, literally called Control Net. Number 2, loads of models and lures for us to try. Just maybe, and don't attempt this one at work. Oh boy here, oh boy there, oh boy everywhere. Number 3, and this is a significant factor, it is free. Cause currently my bank balance has cobwebs on its cobwebs. I've been seeing homeless beggars with higher net worths than me. Making one image look pretty and awesome is possible. Wow, look. So beautiful, gorgeous. But it can take time to get exactly what you want. Very difficult to make multiple images with the same character in different poses and expressions. That's the crux of this whole thing. Unless we're using pre-trained lures, but they come attached with lore suits from Disney. So, and if it's gonna take us an hour to make one image perfect and we've got 50 images plus to do, well, what's the point of cheating with AI? You might as well just learn to draw if it's gonna take that amount of time. We need quick and we need easy, which is fine if you want your characters looking different every time. Quick and consistent characters, well, that is the gold mine. First things first, you're gonna need to write your story. Or use ChatGPT if you wanna eliminate all human creativity. Best to keep the stories fairly simple, which, looking at me, shouldn't be too hard. Only a few characters, locations, actions, etc. So I went for this horrifying yet funny date story I have. Next, we're gonna storyboard it. There's probably a better way to do this, but I just went for what I know. Really shitty stick figures. And thus brings us to the powerhouse of this ComfyUI. Now, this is not a tutorial, cause honestly, just like trying to adult, I have no idea what I'm actually doing here. I'm just making it up as I go. But for the nerds out there, I will go over this workflow. I'm on a Mac and basically they have negative graphics cards, meaning it takes longer than 100% in Baldur's Gate to generate a single image. So I'm using an online server to make the magic happen. The heart of it is image to image. In goes one image, out pops another image, but different. Ooh, control the different here. Now, originally I was using a more complex workflow, a spider's web mess of wires and control panels like we were entering the Matrix. But remember, we need speed. So simple is better. Hence, we are using SD 1.5, not SDXL. Cause, like my performance in bed, it is fast. 4 seconds and we're done. SDXL takes a painstaking 40 seconds. And cause it takes like a gazillion tries tweaking the settings to get a workable image, you'll be blowing out your 90th birthday candles with your false teeth before it is finished. Or you can use like IP adapters and control nets and in-painting and out-painting and control everything to perfection in Comfy, but that will take an hour anyway to make just one image. And we need the speed. So simple on SD 1.5 it is. Now, some images will need fixing in Photoshop later, but as long as we get consistent characters, that's a passing grade for us. So a few key details. First, playing the game of trying to avoid the oh-bye when picking a comic style SD 1.5 model to work with from Civet AI. But the trick to consistent characters is a combination of a few settings, using LoRa's prompting with celebratory names and using the same person to pose for your input images. As you can see, I've used a Fubuki Laura here, aka Blizzard from One Punch Man. I chose this because Laura came preloaded on the server, and well, anybody who's watched the show knows why that is. Then I used Taylor Swift as a celebrity prompt, which could be dangerous for me if we accidentally end up with some opie. To get the input images in the right pose, I use an online model poser, then Photoshop the same hairstyle onto each, because otherwise the hairstyle, even with a lot of prompting, was different every time. Now, to make the new character we desire, we can then just change the details in the prompt, the hair color, the eye color, the clothes, etc. And then you tweak the weights of the Laura, the celeb, and the input image to get a mix between the three of them, and boom, we have a new character. Wow, much consistency. Yes. Not amazing, but it will have to do for now. Which are also sentiments shared by my ex. After you get an image you can use, it is time to upscale. Upscaling is important so that we don't have images with resolutions fit for a Nokia 3310. Once you've got all the images you need, Photoshop. Lots of Photoshop. More than an eThoughts girl's Instagram page, bringing all the images, and you just gotta do a ton of shit on it and make it feel like a comic. Important note, use a PSB file. Cause of words your girlfriend has never said to you, it's too big. Basically, just like in school, the more you can cheat, the better. So without any further ado, here is the comic of my horrifying date with a voiceover story, and do let me know what you think. I don't care how pretty this girl was, mere minutes into our first date, I wish we had never met. Now, I was really trying to impress her, you know, go full romance, pull out all the stops. So I took her to Starbucks. The fact that I had a free coffee voucher was just a coincidence. So there we were, sitting down with our coffees. I'd barely spoken a single word, and she'd just been droning on and on and on about how great her cat was. And don't get me wrong, I like the furry spawns of Satan as much as that next guy, but this conversation was like trying not to fall asleep in a 9 AM geography class about different types of rocks. But that's not the worst part. No. The worst part! Now, be warned, the disgust about to unfold will make you gag more than a gay man in a dildo factory. As she starts telling me she's collecting their fur to make into a voodoo cat doll ritual thing, she lets out the mother of all sneezes. Ah! It seemed in slow motion as I see her snot and mucus flying everywhere. All over the table, all over and in the coffees. And then I feel it. The droplets of mucus splatter all over my face. Ew. It was so gross. So gross! And without missing a beat, she just continues to talk about her cat. She didn't even apologize or anything. I'm now sitting there in this lingering moist mist of her sneeze in absolute disgust, watching this woman who still has a trail of snot drifting from her nostrils pick up her cup and drink her mucus-covered coffee. I could still see the snot trails when I closed my eyes. And at this point, the situation had got to me, and I start to in disgust. Violently, I stand up and race to the toilets to avoid projectile vomiting all over her in some automatic, bodily, repulsive retaliation. There I was, looking in the mirror, covered in some strange snot, seriously considering giving myself a swirly in a public toilet, cause it would feel less disgusting than this. After I'd composed myself, I returned to tell her I think I'm going to leave. But she had ordered me a new coffee, this time snot free. So now I thought it would be rude to just immediately bolt, and suddenly, without any sense of shame, this woman, she takes my sneeze-infected, half-drunken coffee and downs it, places the finished cup down on the table, wipes her snotty nose on her sleeve, and gives me this awkward smile. So you'll be shocked to know there was no second date.